at the end of yesterday's episode, we had just painted our little fair lead at the back here, and all the places where we had connected the railing onto the flagpole or the flagpole bracing, we covered them up with the with flat XF77. And what we want to try and do now that this is perfectly dry, is I want to try and use a lighter gray to enhance the railing. Now I do know that originally the railing was painted this gray here, okay, with this stuff here. So we are going to be using something that is a little lighter, but I think my plan is that if I only paint from this fence post right here and this one right here around, it won't show up too bad. And the idea is I want the railings to contrast with the fair lead and with the flagpole bracing. So well, let's just see what we can do. Okay, as you saw, I've got a steady rest going here, so that should help a little bit. And that is, you will have seen it if I remembered to insert those photos. Now, I do not want to touch anything except the railing. I might have to clean my little brush here because the paint's probably going to dry on it. Okay, that little shorty I don't think matters. Now, go across the back here. I think I might have too much on there. Gotta be careful here. Okay, now let's move around the other side. I think it went not too bad. Now the reason why I want this light is, as I mentioned, I want the railing to stand out so that it will contrast. My angle's not too good here. The last one here. Why can't I not get that? There we go. Just a little bit. We'll just swing 180 degrees here. We don't need to go all the way around. We just need enough to get a good perspective. And I think this is getting a good perspective. Now, I was thinking yesterday that what we could do is put something on like this, but I'm realizing now that if I do it like that, because the flagstaff is sticking out a little bit. If the stern was to move any more than about 1/4 of an inch, this is going to catch on it. So I'm thinking now I'd be better off having something like this and give lots of room here. At least that's the plan for now. All right. I think this is probably hot enough, and this does not have to be super strong. It just has to be just enough to can't work and talk at the same time. Okay. I almost broke it off with my safety thing. That would have been embarrassing. Well, I probably would have showed it if I did. Okay, so that should be good. Put it like that. I haven't used this thing for a while. Probably needs to be primed. Okay, so the idea now is that if I swing it around and one of the cords that's hanging down from the gantry, either for the light or for the camera, it was to catch on it, it'll just sort of protect it a little bit here. Well, let's swing it around and put the one on the bow. Now I was just about going to do a dry run here. And you notice on the bottom of this post right here, looks like a little piece of flashing, and that would hold it up from making a good seal. So let's see if I can just very gently get that off. Sometimes trying to do stuff on camera is not smart. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Yeah, looks alright. Okay, now let's do our dry run. I realize we already sort of did, but I couldn't remember exactly where that piece that we just filed comes down, because I want to put a little droplet of glue right where it's going to come. Okay. Alright, it's going to be almost center of this part right here that's sticking up. Maybe slightly towards you. Okay. Okay, before we get going here, I'm sure that you will remember seeing this many, many, many times. It's just simply a needle. I think we probably made that up almost a year ago. And this is my favorite kind of applicator. I've probably used it hundreds of times. Yeah, probably going on a couple of thousand times or more on this model. And the only thing is I have to watch that I don't grab too much CA all at the same time with it. Now, here we have the same thing again. I also have a straight one that I made up. And all it is, as you can see, it's an ordinary little needle with the top of the eye filed off of it, or nipped off of it. And yeah. Okay, that's my favorite kind of applicator. So, just to let you know. So here we go with my favorite applicator that I've used thousands of times. Well, I don't know about thousands. Yeah, probably thousands. And that sure works a lot better than a needle. Okay, I'll just use my fingers here and try not to squeeze too hard. Okay, I believe it's seated. All right, we'll just let that cure and try not to break this one off. Okay, sorry about my microwave running in the background and making a lot of racket. If I was to remember to immediately wipe off the end like that, I'd probably be able to use it 3 or 4 times. Problem is I keep forgetting and it hardens in that little V-shaped area or U-shaped area. And I used to soak it in CA glue solvent. And yes, it would remove it completely. But a couple of viewers, months ago, well, probably over a year ago when we first made this thing, suggested that when you want to get rid of it fast, no, there's very little in there, and so you didn't see any extra little stuff coming off like you normally would. Now there is a residue left on there, and if you don't think there is, let's just take a pristine part of the cloth here, and okay, there it is right there. So you do get a residue left from doing that, but you can wipe it out. And I've probably done this hundreds of times. And this is that same little lighter that I found. I think I mentioned that. It's still going. It must have been almost new. I went out and I bought another package of 5 of these things, and I'm still on this one. I probably could have saved myself, I think it was five lighters for about $5. They're dirt cheap. Anyway, this is cured now. So let's work on our little railings here. Now this top rail here, I was going to straighten it out and then bend it around. Let me get something smaller than my jeweler's screwdriver here. Okay, this is still clean. One of the viewers made a good suggestion. He said, why don't you take something like this and you can use it to hook into your railing. So notice how I can grab hold of it and move it up and down and manipulate it, and I think that's a good idea. I'm going to take another needle and cut the head off of it, or the eye rather, and make a, I think somebody suggested put it into a dowel. Anyway, yeah, we could just, I like that idea. So a special thanks to that viewer for that suggestion there. Okay, I'm thinking here. It's a novel experience for me. See, could I grab hold of this one? Yeah. Yeah, I do the same here. Now this one here is going to have to be shortened a little, I think. Just a little. Okay, I've rearranged the furniture here a little bit so that I've got myself a steady rest and I can see this just slightly better here. Now I just want to take off, let's just double check here. How much do I want to take off? About a millimeter. Remember, don't take off too much. Okay, how is that? Where's my special pusher? Yeah, that's going to be okay. Now this one here, maybe half a millimeter. I try to pre-adjust the scissors so that I don't have to open them. I should be able to just get that just right in there. And there. Now here's another thought. I was just wondering, why don't I take this glue applicator here that we made up, which I hardly ever use. I like the curved one a lot better. And I could use this one as the pusher. I think it's probably opens up enough here that it'll catch onto something. Yeah. So I think that's what I'll do. I'll stick this one into a dowel. Change in plans here. You all remember the holder downer. And of course this is our little applicator that I don't use very much anymore. Now here's a new needle. Now the other end of our applicator already has a hole in it. And I was thinking I could probably use this, but I'm noticing that even if I was to drill a shallower hole than this is, I'm going to lose quite a bit of this new holder downer that I'm trying to make up here in the hole. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use a needle here, my new needle, and oh, look at that, it's magnetized, and just cut it off. That'll give me a little bit more reach. Maybe it doesn't even need to go in that far, and yet the longer it sticks out, the more dangerous it's going to be. I'm going to have to watch already that I don't poke myself with it. Rather than drill a new hole, I just poked it in very carefully. And I think we'll just use my old cutters here just to take the end off. I'll do it this way and then I can see it better. Okay. Now if I put my finger on the other side like this, that's okay, I'll get it. I didn't want this little piece here to go flying off somewhere. Consequently, the other end went flying off. But all is well that ends well. I might have to spread that just a little bit because it's... Maybe I should have made it just a little bit shorter. The fork is too long. Now, what was the matter with me? I should have had my macro lens on for that shot. You couldn't have been expected to see this. Okay, well you can see it now. I might just have to spread the fork just a tiny bit. I don't want it too wedge shaped or stuff is going to get stuck in it. Anyway, looks like it needs to be filed a little bit there too. We'll work it out, don't worry. It's a rather dreary, cloudy day here in Winnipeg today. And a few minutes ago I had my window open and I was talking to my neighbor and I was mentioning how every time I woke up last night I could hear the rain. And then I mentioned that I hoped that rain would sort of dissolve and wash away all the rabbit pellets that we had in our driveway. Or rather, I should say, I have in my driveway. Yeah, my car is the one on the right. His car is the one on the extreme left. And Mrs. Neighbor's in the middle. Now, during the wintertime, I had mine parked more over towards where Mrs. Neighbor's car is. And the rabbits chose to make that their potty place. And yeah, it was nice and convenient. My car was there 99.9% of the time, and there was no snow there. Why not? And I guess with all the carrots they're eating, they'd eat the carrots and then go stand under my car, or maybe I should say hop under my car, and do what rabbits do after they've eaten. Anyway, yeah, as you can see, the rain did not dissolve them. And I'm very surprised about that, because it rained pretty steady. All right, I am curious, why is this not dissolving in water? I'm going to put this in water and, I was just thinking, I got to make sure I keep this cap on here because, if this was to come out and be laying down here and I don't have my glasses on, yeah, it's not a raisin. Anyway, thanks for watching. All being well, we'll see you tomorrow.